Hi, welcome back to the day 4 of the Colorverse Colorvent Calendar 2025, and let's go for the door number 4, as I previously told you. Sorry about this illogical wording. So let's try to pull this out. And what we have here is a door called, I'm not sure if you can see it, Milky Sea. In some oceans, bacteria emit light, and for one night, the sea glows like a galaxy. I like these descriptions. They don't tell us much, obviously, but they tell us what the inspiration for them, for the inks were. So this is Milky Sea, and this is a glistening ink. And it seems to have a blue sparkles, at least that's what they seem, although sometimes in the bottles, if the sparkles are silver colored, they may look blue because it's the color of the ink. The ink may affect the way we see the sparkles, but we'll see that in a moment when I'll make the swatch. Okay, let's see this Milky Sea glistening ink. Let's shake it. I already did that before I started the video, so there is still some shimmering in suspension. I just did the extra shake to be sure, but I didn't have to do it very completely. That's why I just slightly shook it, because I already did it before, just to explain to you. And sorry about my reaction. The way the glitter shows on paper is really fantastic. Look at that. I don't know if you can see this through camera. I think you can. I can see it in the screen, but how the glitter looks on paper, this is so fantastic. I am really amazed with this. This is a beautiful blue as far as it is now, as it is wet still, and then it has the blue glitter that makes it very standing out. It's a very interesting color. Maybe I think in the end of all this process, maybe I should make a video with my top inks of both calendars. So this is number 4, Milky Sea, and I'll be back when this is dry to show you the full characteristics of the ink. So I'll be right back. So let's take a look at how this Milky Sea looks like after dry, and it looks amazing. And I can see the way the idea behind the name, this Milky Sea. I understand that with all the lights of small animals and algae in the sea. So this is very very beautiful. It's just a blue ink, but then the shimmer makes a perfect complement to this. I really like this one. It's very pretty. So after this swatch, let me show you other swatches that I have here. Some are kind of comparable, some are not, but I will show you why I chose them. And I have here the Atramentis document ink dark blue, and I think that some of the colors are similar. This kind of, I call it dusty blue. We have the Caveco Royal Blue, which is also similar in some points to that ink, but it is lighter, of course, because it doesn't have these much darker parts, and also the glitter. I also have here another ink that has nothing to do with it, but I decided that I should show it, which is the Pelikan Edelstein Golden Lapis, which is also blue ink with shimmer, but it is a light, vibrant blue ink, not this kind of dusty blue. So it's a much lighter and vivid, and then it has gold shimmer, and this one has blue shimmer. So it was just for comparison, not to show similarities, but to show what this ink is not. Then I have here other inks from the calendars, from the Lamy Inkvent calendars. I have from year 2019. This one, the blue is not that different, but then it has a massive red sheen that this one doesn't have. And then we have these Happy Holidays, which has a brighter, kind of more ultramarine blue, and it has a similar shimmer, but it has a red sheen. So the blue is different and the sheen is different also, but the shimmer is very similar. I have here from 2021 the Storm, which is a more comparable blue, but this one has a kind of a pale gold shimmer. Let me take this out of the way so I can ensure there is some focus, and I'm not sure that the camera is focusing properly. Okay, so kind of similar but different shimmer. Then we have the 2024 calendar, the Chilly Nights, which is similar blue, similar almost everything, but this one has a silver, almost, it's more than silver, it's almost white, a reflective white shimmer, and that one is blue. And finally I have here the Lamy Inkvent calendar 2025, the number one of this year, and it is a different blue and a different shimmer. So I don't have an ink that is exactly like this one. In here the most similar would be none of them. So that's just it. Now let's try not to waste too much time. Let's go for this chromatography. What we can see here is that we have a line that stays behind, and then the doubt about this is that only the shimmer or also some blue ink. I can tell you it's also some blue, but a big part of that blue is washed away. You can see it's much whiter here than there, so the blue was washed away, some of it, some stayed, not only the shimmer, and I'll show it in a moment to you when I'll make the water resistance test. Again, 3 papers. Before the papers, the pens. So I chose 2 pens, again, as usual, and the first pen is my new Gravitas Quark in titanium, which is a very interesting light pen, pocket pen, very small, but with a number 6 nib that makes it quite big. So it's made of titanium, pocket pen, becomes full size, and it is very nice. Still a fan of Gravitas pens. Now for, I think since their start. The other one is this, that I enjoy. It is a Lamy pen. You can see there. It is the Lamy CP1 model 50, which is the brushed steel, but the older version, which is slimmer. So this Lamy CP1 is a cartridge converter pen, as this one is, and inside it has this gold nib. You have there the gold content engraved on the nib, nothing more engraved, no branding, and it has an oblique nib. So I chose those 2 because I thought they would make really a big difference. Sometimes they don't. I think in this time we have a big difference on the writing experience or on the lines that are written on paper. What we have here is the three papers. The Moleskine paper is that off-white color. Again, it works well with no feathering. It's interesting. Again, this paper shows very well the shading, the color variation in the inside each line. So in this frame you can see both writings. Of course you can see more color variation in the wider Lamy nib. When we tilt this to the light, I think it's very clear that you can see the shimmer perfectly on the Lamy CP1 and very hard to see on the Gravitas. The Gravitas has a fine nib, the other one has an oblique. On this side, even with that oblique nib, there is some ghosting, which means you can see through, but not a lot of bleeding, which is quite amazing. Then we have the Oxford optic paper, which is usually not that good for shading. You can see the shading quite well, but it looks much darker than on the Moleskine paper. I think the shading looks better here, but it's visible there also. And usually this paper is very good for the sheen. This pen doesn't have, this ink doesn't have a very special sheen, but it has the shimmer. Again, the shimmer is not very visible, as you can see. Sorry about this angle, but I need it to show you. It's the shimmer is visible with the Lamy CP1 quite easily, and not easily seen with the Gravitas. On the other side, there is no bleed through, a perfect behavior on paper. Then we have the Navigator copy paper. Again, in this case, you have bleed through and all that. So this paper is not really good for that. And for the shimmer, the lines look much wider. There is no feathering, but you can see that this paper absorbs more ink, and it makes it more makes the lines thicker. I think that with this paper you can see better some shimmer. This is not easy to show on camera, but I can see some shimmer on the Gravitas and also some shimmer with the CP1, which means I think you can see the shimmer there, for example, and you can see also the shimmer with the Gravitas. So I think that in this paper it's easier to see shimmer from any pen, any kind of nib, but the shimmer never looks so intense. For example, with the Moleskine paper, you don't see very well the shimmer on the fine nib, but on oblique nib is very intense. And this is kind of a nice to see the potential of shimmer. This shows the shimmer very well, and this is very good for the sheen, and this ink doesn't have any special sheen. So this is how it behaved on the three papers. Now let's go for the final, the Rhodia dot pad, where I wrote here with the Gravitas. I found something that is very unpleasant for me. We are talking about the fine nib on the Gravitas. Where is the focus of this thing? Okay, you can see the nib on the Gravitas, fine nib, and it took around 60 seconds, and I'm not sure it's completely dry. 60 seconds, or meaning 1 minute, to get this completely dry. For me, this is a little too much. So not that good. Of course, if you write in a paper like Moleskine or copy paper, it will absorb the ink better and will not stay on top. But in this paper, like the Oxford and the Rhodia, it will stay on top and will take a lot more time to dry. On the side of the wet experience or the water resistance test, we can see here that this line, this blue line, is not only the shimmer. We are talking also, it's not only the line of the shimmer that stayed on the paper, because here on this paper it doesn't absorb, so it goes away when it is washed. You can see that the ink stayed, so you can see the line. There is a blue stain all around, but you can see what was written. So there is some water resistance. I guess if you did the water resistance test before it was dry, I do this after dry. If I made before, maybe it all went away. About the shimmer, I'm not seeing much shimmer with the Gravitas Quark Fine Nib pen. Let's go for the last writing exercise here. Let's use the Gravitas Quark. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And I like the way this pen writes and the ink writes on paper. And now let's do it with the Lamy CP1. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Let me pick this up. I need to be careful not to smudge this because it's not dry, as you know, because of my previous test. I don't understand why sometimes this really has a hard time on focusing. So, shimmer, very visible, as you may see with the Lamy CP1, even not dry yet, but there in the and the quick you can really see the shimmer, and also you can see the shimmer a little bit on the Gravitas Quark. One thing that I noticed writing with the Gravitas Quark is if I leave the pen down, I think it will, when I start writing, there is a lot of shimmer coming out on the first letters, and then the shimmer goes a little bit away. I think it's always a problem to be sure that the shimmer is completely in suspension, so it will have a regular flow. I think many times it will not have a regular flow, and I don't know, when this cartridge is completely over of ink, maybe there will only be a little bit of sheen inside. So for me it's very hard to predict how these inks behave and what to expect from them. So I like the ink. I think it is interesting. It looks very, very nice, even on paper, like I showed you on moleskin. However, I don't like how much time it takes to dry. And this is it. So this was the number 4 Milky C, sorry, and tomorrow I'll be back, I hope, for another ink. Bye.